So this video is going to be a little different. Usually this channel features Gundam and Gundam games and all that, with scattered bits of other stuff that I play. I really want to spread that there are Gundam games that exist. Normally right now it's just GVO, but I want to let everybody know, hey, that stuff is out there and there is an audience for it. Every now and then though, I want to make something different. So that's where this one comes in at. I've played games since I was little, and in that time there have been some amazing titles that have come out, and then we've never seen them again. And there is a fan base out there for every one of these games. And we've been through a couple generations, console generations, and those titles haven't been seen again. Now, some of these bigger games that have been out, Mass Effect, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, all the mainline Final Fantasy games from 1 through 12, even GoldenEye, they've had remasters or re-releases. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 and Elder Scrolls Skyrim have been re-released at least 3 or 4 times by now. And earlier this year, I was actually shocked when they were like, hey, here's Ninja Gaiden. And I was like, yo, I never thought that I would see Ninja Gaiden again. I just played Ninja Gaiden Black on my Xbox, just backwards compatibility. But there are a lot of titles that people would want to see again. Now, I know some of these are not possible. There are limitations and legal things that people have to go to, but people still want them. And these are just a few that I can think that I would like to see again. Now, if I were to do a video with every single game, that would be hours long, and I only wanted to list the ones that I would like literally throw my wallet at the screen for. Metroid was almost on this list, but Metroid Dread is coming out in a little over a month, so you barely missed out on that one, but you're cutting it close. She was almost here. Now, this list will not be in any particular order. However, there is a number 1 game on here. One game that I literally would cry over if they just came out and said, hey, we're gonna remake this again, and then showed like a teaser trailer or a gameplay trailer or anything. I'd be like, yo, we done. This is the game. This is it right here. Game of the year, hadn't even played it. Now, if you agree, or if there's anything else that you would like to see, please tell me in the comments. Who knows? Like, if this video does really good, then I will do a part 2, or I will do as many parts as I can. So, with all of that out of the way, let's get it.
Capcom presents
I mean, did you really think I was going to make a list and not have this game on here? This game has its own hashtag right now. Free MVC2. Maximilian has been preaching the gospel about this game for, nay I say, years. And Capcom hasn't done anything yet. This game needs to either be re-released or updated, given a remaster, something. Even just look, you could port it. You could let me just download the PS3 version that I purchased on PS4 and PS5. Either one of them. Just let me play this game again. And I am in no way a pro at the game. I just play it to have fun. I play it to goof off with my friends when we are together, when we were able to play the game. Because we're not right now. I don't have a PS3 anymore. Some of them do, and they still have it. But with everything going on right now, that doesn't happen very much. And now we have modern consoles, and if they updated it with, throw in some rollback net code, I could play some great matches with my friends. You get more money from me. Now I get it. Look, we got MVC2. We got MVC Infinite. That's fine. But it's just something about the 2D style that made this game great. Plus, if you look at the roster that they had, there are characters that are in this game that we haven't seen since. Now, yes, there are probably copyright issues and all these other things going on, but MVC2 had them. Ruby Heart, who's not really been in anything else. Hayato was in Stargazer, and that was it. And he's always on my team. Anytime I make a team, he's on there. Jin, Captain Commando, from way back in the day. Think about it. When was the last time you saw Guile, Charlie, Sakura, and Cammy in a game together, and they were part of the base roster and not DLC? That hasn't happened. No, you've had probably Alpha 3, maybe Street Fighter Alpha 3. Yeah, I think that was it. I think that was the last time. But then go further than, when's the last time you saw Omega Red in a fighting game? When's the last time you saw Rogue in a fighting game? Not that PS2, it's PS1 X-Men fighting game. You haven't. And then just think about the amount of time people put into this, the combos that people came up with, the team comps that people were using. There's so much layered into this game that people love about it. There are people that still make combo videos for this because it's so good. I love watching this played at tournaments. I love seeing it when Twitch does stuff on this, when they would do tournaments, and when Evo had it playing. I loved seeing it, and it made me want to play it more, and then it made me want another one, but then they took the roster away from us. So I don't know if anyone else sees this. Capcom, Sony, someone, please, can I have this back? This is just the first one that I'm asking for. Please. I'll throw my wallet at the screen. And it's almost like, I'm not saying that some people don't want money. There probably is a legit reason why they haven't done it yet. But I feel that there are enough people that would throw money at you for this game to warrant making it again. So I just wanted to stop really quick and just say this next one, I'm reaching back a lot. And some people may know what it is, some people won't. If you don't, it's okay. I'm here to show you. But as a warning, maybe turn your sound down just a little bit. Okay? You had time? Let's go. Bloody Roar. Just let's take it back. Imagine you're playing a game. It's just two people fighting and everything looks normal. And then all of a sudden, the guy just turns into a tiger and kills you. And you're confused. Well, that was little me at Walmart Supercenter playing the Bloody Roar 2 demo back in the day. Do not act like you didn't play that demo. We all know that Walmart that had it, that PlayStation 2 demo that was there. Bloody Roar was a great fighting game, at least to me. The story was all over the place, but it followed a couple different people. The main person being Yugo the Wolf. He's basically the main character. There are these people in the world named Zoanthrope, and they can just transform into beasts. Now there's an evil corporation, we call it Pylon, and they're experimenting on people and trying to turn them into weapons. And Yugo was just one of those experiments, but he doesn't remember. That's how most fighting game protagonists are. He finds out later in the game that, he was used as an experiment, and then Gato, the lion, decides that he wants to help out and destroy Tylon. Now, there are other games in the series, and the rest of the games deal with the fallout from the attack on Tylon, humanity finding out that Zoanthropes exist, and then eventually, like every other fighting game, at some point, the destruction of the world. I miss Bloody Roar. You basically played two characters when fighting. The human had one moveset, and the zoanthrope, in most cases, had a completely different moveset. You could do some really nasty combos if you can get the first part of the combo going and then transform in the middle of it and then keep the beast part going. There were some really crazy things you could do, and then you do your beast ultimate in the middle of it while the tiger basically destroyed the stage. All the stages, or most of the stages, had like destructible walls, so you could have ring outs or you can use the walls to extend combos out. Chrono, which I didn't like him that much, but in Primal Fury, basically he had two transformations. He had a penguin that you really couldn't hit with high attacks because they just missed them, and then he had a phoenix form that if the person knew how to use the phoenix form, you were just dead. You couldn't stop that hit. It was gonna kill you if it connected. They did re-release this in like 2009 on PSN, but as of course you cannot play it on current consoles legally, and I want to play this legally. So if you could just, bring Bloody Roar back, that would be great. I think a lot of other people would love to play this again too, and see this, especially now with Twitch, like see this in tournaments. That would be fantastic. F-Zero. Now I want to point out again, everything I'm saying is my opinion. So with that said, there really isn't another game that gives you that sense of speed that F-Zero does. And before you say anything, yes, I have played Wipeout, I've played Pacer, I've played Anti-Gravitator, however you say that. Redout is about the only game that gets really close to it, but the controls feel more Wipeout style than F-Zero. Like you drift a lot the way that the ships and the crafts handle. So there really isn't a game that takes advantage of how speed is done it like F-Zero does. Small twitches, trying to adjust yourself on the course, like that can send you flying off to your death. Then you look at track design. There really isn't any other games that did tracks like F-Zero did. Maybe Extreme G, but that's about the only one. Cosmic Terminal from GX is a really good example of that. It's a Trident style track. So you have 3 paths that you can go down, and a lot of the track didn't have any barriers on it. So if you messed up, you were gonna fall off. Go for a side attack and miss that, you're done. The race is over. There was very little room for error. Even the simplest tracks had an extreme risk when you decided to adjust while you were racing. There was Lightning, Mute City, Casino Palace, Fort Town, just a couple of tracks I can name that would seem simple but would just destroy you if you did anything wrong. Okay, and then you have Silence. Silence is one of my favorite tracks from F-Zero X, and it's extremely simple. It's literally one long straightaway. You only gotta deal with like the boost pads and it inverting itself at one point. Now, if I were to hit every single one of those pads, when I get here at this point, if I'm going too fast, I will fly off. That has nothing to do with anything that I've like physically done in the game. It's I'm going too fast and that is going to shoot me off the track. Then you have to worry about everyone else because you're trying to stay in first place. And depending on the difficulty you're on, they don't make it easy. So you're boosting and hitting these pads at the same time while dodging everyone else and trying to kill your rival because you don't want your rival to catch up to you and not blow up before you get to the finish line. And this is all what? The laps are taking 20 something seconds. There is not another futuristic racing game out there that does anything like this. And there are other tracks, like extremely other tracks too. Like you have the pipe, the cylinder, Big Blue has the pipe. I can't even remember what track has the cylinder, but there's like so many different tracks out there that are crazy and no one else does tracks out like this. Now you may say I'm showing just F-Zero X tracks and stuff like that. And that's because I have access to F-Zero X. I tried to buy a GameCube this weekend and a copy of F-Zero GX, and I couldn't find one. Otherwise, I would have tracks from there on that. Especially like, is it Green Zone? Green Forest. That's what it is. Green Forest, Red Kingdom. There's a lot of tracks that they had on there, and it's just insane that nothing else does anything like this at all. The GameCube version was the last one that released, and there was an AX version that came out. It was released in arcades, but we never got it. I believe it was released in Japan. We just never got it over here in the West. I know I'm not the only person that wants this to be released again, so like Nintendo, if you ever watch this, please, like, I know I've seen and heard and read things that you're like, you want to have a new innovation to release the game or come up with a sequel, a new controller, a new interface. It really doesn't need that. I honestly would be okay if you just release this on the shop on my Switch and I can play X on there or GX again. I would be 100% okay with that. I'd be okay if you made a new game and didn't change like anything at all and just had new tracks. I mean, if Madden and FIFA and NBA can change like minor things every single year and come out with a game, I think it would be okay. But Nintendo wants to innovate, and I understand, but like, listen, we want to play F-Zero again. I know I'm not alone. Just make it a way to where I can play this some more.
Out of the darkness they came with a hateful will to destroy humanity. We fought long and hard, but now we are lost, for they have taken their evil war into our past. Traveling through time, they have sown corruption, unraveling the fabric of our history. Our last chance is to strike back, seize the time crystals, and turn their twisted weapon against them. The fight for survival has begun.
Time Splitters. Okay, now listen, look. I know this one's kind of cheating. Technically, there is another game that is yet to start development coming from Free Radical. However, they've not shown anything about this, so this is on the list. And I know that you can buy Homefront Revolution, and there's a code that you can go play the whole game in there. I want to play this without having to buy anything else. That's the whole point. Anyway, so Time Splitters was so fun. The story basically follows Sergeant Cortez, our main guy, as he attempts to stop the Time Splitters from destroying mankind. They're using these objects called the Time Crystals to go through time and change events to make it easier for them to win in the future. So basically kind of in a Terminator, Quantum Leap kind of story. Cortez follows them through time to stop them and everything. And every single time he goes to a new time period, he becomes someone in that time period that is already set out to stop someone who's allied with the Time Splitters, and you gotta get the crystals. And like, you get the crystals, and once you touch it, the portal opens up and the Time Splitters are chasing you, so you gotta get to the end of the level before they kill you. And the story's all good, everything's fun with that, but what made the game for me was multiplayer and the map making. And you could make any kind of map with any kind of game mode, and me and my friends would make stupid game types all the time. Headshots with shotguns only, one-shot kills with silenced pistols on the western map like it's a shootout, high noon. We made one game mode with the virus game type that there was one person who was a little green monkey, and if you got touched by the monkey, you would turn into a green monkey yourself. And you're like, oh, that's not special, that's just your standard virus game type. However, we would make all the walls in the map invisible, so you would clearly see everyone in the room, but you weren't able to tell if you were going to run straight into a wall or run straight at them. And so we would also make it there was one gun in the middle of the map. So whoever got the gun had a better chance of surviving, while everybody else was like just trying to hit them or just hopefully say they were on a different side of the wall and couldn't get touched. We would do the ones with zombies. We would do the clown one. Oh, the clown one was so dumb, where you'd have one person as a clown, but they didn't have a weapon. So they just touched you, it was fine. But then you'd also have one where no one else had weapons. and the person infected had weapons. So if they shot you, you were infected. So it's like basically weird versions of tag. This game was fun. We would sit and play it for hours. We would make super dumb things on here and just see if it worked. And there's not actually, I don't know of many games that do that anymore. It's something that just kind of went away. So as they make this new one, Free Radical, as you make this next title, re-release Time Splitters 2, let that happen. But as y'all have this new one coming out, do not forget all those other things you had in there. Please put them back. We love them. Also, the street level had the best music, and that's probably what you're hearing right now. It had the best music. Also with Western was really good too, but Street was the best level in terms of music in the entire game. So don't forget to bring your music back too, because there were some really good tracks in Time Splitters. Western and Street were the best ones, but some others were good too. So here we are. This one is the actual number one. The number one game that I would want remade or re-released or remastered at some point. Some of you may already know what it is. There are a lot that I want to, talk about. And again, if this does well, there will be a part 2. I would love to talk about Jedi Power Battles. That's coming. Gundam Unicorn. It was a PS3 game. It's, it's 2 gens back, but it's not talked about a lot. Armored Core, poor answer, really? Even just 4, just why have we not had another Armored Core? Mega Man Legends, Battle Arena Toshinden, Tenchu, Wrath of Heaven. If you would just re-release Wrath of Heaven, I'd be okay. Tenchu was fantastic. But there is the one game, this one game that I want to play again on whatever system would love to release it. I'm here for it. So with all that said, this is going to give a lot of it away. PlayStation has had so many great RPGs over the years. There's Shadow Hearts, The Covenant, Xenogears, Wild Arms. But there is always one game that is always just taunted and teased for us, and then they don't do anything with it. So some of you probably guessed it, Legend of Dragoon. It is probably still to this day my favorite RPG. Yes, I'm saying it is over Final Fantasy VII and Knights of the Old Republic, which we're getting a remaster of. I'm so happy about that. But the story follows our young hero Dart, who has probably met more people that have affected his history than he would care to know. His whole quest is to find the black monster that killed his mother and destroyed his birth village years ago. Along the way, he meets a lot of people. Then at some point, he is saved by Rose, a woman in black armor, foreshadowing much. I mean, I had a feeling she was the thing when you meet her, and then she transforms, and I was like, hold up, what's this? Kind of suspicious if you don't, think about it that way. Look, I had 3 copies of this game. I actually had 4. I gave 1 copy away to one of my best friends because he said he never played the game before, and I was like, we need to fix that situation. I was already in love with the game because you had to, as you were attacking, press buttons to, crit the attack or continue an attack, stuff like that. Shadow Hearts did it. It was great. But the first time you changed into a Dragoon, I lost it. I didn't know. I literally was like, yo, this is Power Rangers, except I have wings and I can shoot fire and lightning and stuff. Lavitz was my favorite person. And then, spoiler, if you haven't played it, stop right here. This is gonna give me a second. He dies. And I was like, okay, cool. We lost the green one. The win one's gone. Yeah, the game's over. And then they gave us Albert, and I was like, okay, the green one's here. But I didn't really like Albert that much. He gets better as the game goes on. But we get Dark's grandpa, who I liked him because he was like, look, let's just box. And he had lightning. And then, like, you find out they had met previously and didn't even know. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, interesting. And then later, you get your divine transformation. And I didn't even know what to do with it, because you had to think about when you were going to use your transformations, because they didn't last the entire fight. They only lasted so many turns. So it made me think about, did I really want to do this now, or do I want to hold off and see if I can beat him without training? And some fights made you transform, like you had to beat them. I love this game. The story is great. The combat's great. There's so much to talk about with this game, and I get that there are some legal issues, and they wanted to do a sequel and they didn't do it, and it never happened. I wish they would. I wish that this would come back at some point. They'd be like, look, let's remake this. Let's make a sequel to the game. Let's make a remaster with a sequel with some more on the end, so people can play and enjoy this game a little bit more. So that's the last one. That's the last one for this one. There's a lot more I want to talk about. We'll see what happens. But if you would like to hear any more about that, or want me to do another video, let me know in the comments. Share this, let everybody know. I know this is just my opinion. I'm okay with that. If there's anything else you would like, tell me below. Let's see if if this was your number one. We're already friends, so we're good. But guys, thanks for hanging out and listening to all of this. We'll see what happens later. So you have a good one, and keep thinking about games that we would love to play.